CataractCoach.com, podcast series, episode number 125, with Dr. Nitin Chopra, from Wall Street financier to ophthalmologist. Do you ever think, like me, that you could have been a Wall Street hedge fund bro and already be retired on your private yacht somewhere? Well, maybe the grass isn't always greener. Check it out. Welcome back to our Cataract Coach podcast. And today, I've got a very special guest. And that guest is Dr. Nitin Chopra. And the part that I really want to talk to him about is his previous career before ophthalmology. Nitin, welcome to our podcast.
Dr. Devgan, thank you so much for having me. I'm a real fan, and it's an honor to be here.
Well, let me get right to it. So we interact with some other business in ophthalmology, and I looked you up, and I was like, whoa, you had a full-on career that a lot of us ophthalmologists will kind of sometimes think maybe I should have done that. Before you did ophthalmology, tell us all about your previous career.
So before going to med school, I'd worked for a decade in finance as an investment banker mostly, but also on what's called the buy side at a hedge fund and a mutual fund. And before that, even I was actually I was a programmer at Microsoft. So I graduated college as a computer science engineer, and then worked as a programmer for a couple of years. But really, the bulk of my career before medicine was in finance. And
so
it was
let's go back. I'm real basic. So where did you do your undergrad? Your college?
I was at Stanford. So I was at Stanford in the late 90s.
You're a real dummy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. That's an amazing school.
I had an amazing time. I grew up, I guess I'll take it even further back. I grew up thinking I wanted to be a doctor. My parents aren't physicians, but being Indian, there's so many people in my family and friend circle who are. And so came into med school to Stanford thinking, okay, maybe I'll be a doctor. But being in the Bay Area in the late 90s, I mean, the Bay Area has always been the epicenter for tech. And back then, during the dot-com boom, it was just a real exciting time. I took a computer science class, loved it. Took another one, loved it. And found that I was enjoying that more than my bio and, Gen Chem classes. So I quickly switched to being a computer science major, which was great. I mean, I remember getting an email once as a sophomore. This would have been like 1998 or 1999. Saying like, if you've taken these 4 classes and received an A, these 4 computer science classes and received an A, we'll hire you for the summer. This is a startup looking for a place. No interview needed. I mean, it was a crazy time back then. It was a lot of fun. And so I finished school, went to Microsoft, as I mentioned, up in Seattle, in Redmond. I was living in Seattle, started as a programmer. Back then, I don't know if I agree with this thinking today, but I felt if I'm going to do something in my one and only life, I want to be like the best at it, like top 5%. And, I looked around, there were 13 of us on our team of 13 engineers. And I think there's only like 3 Americans, of which I was one. We had someone from Belarus, someone from Taiwan, someone from Slovakia, someone from Brazil. And these people were like the smartest people in their country.
All right.
And so I said, I don't know if I'm, good. And again, looking back, I think I disagree with the notion, but back then I thought if I'm going to do something, I need to be the best at it. So I said, let me go back to my love of medicine. And so I applied to a post-bac program, you get in, and then I was like, I told my parents, hey, I'm going to leave Microsoft. I'm going to go to med school. I'm going to take some classes at Columbia, finish up my prereq requirements that I still needed, and then go to med school. And I'll never forget, my mom started crying, not tears of joy. She was like, why would you want to be a doctor? It's such a long road. Right. It's such a hard job. There's no money in it, and et cetera, et cetera. And I have a very close relationship then and now with my folks. So I said, okay. My mom suggested going into finance. That's what my dad does. And so I was like, I can just explore it, see what it is. But that turned into a decade long on Wall Street, 8 years working and 2 years in getting an MBA.
Where'd you do your MBA?
I was at Wharton.
Oh my God. So you're like the all-star resume for anything investment banking. I mean, Stanford undergrad, Wharton MBA, amazing.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great time. And banking was actually, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was similar to medicine. You work with a lot of really smart people. It's intellectually engaging. It's fast paced. It's always changing. I mean, it was great, but you can't, it's really hard to fool yourself. If something doesn't feel right, it's hard to convince yourself that something is the right fit if you know in your heart it's not. You go to a fancy new restaurant, you're all excited because you've heard so many great things. It's hard to get a reservation, it's expensive. You take that first bite and like, oh, it's not as good as the local, taco shop.
So when in the 10-year course did you figure out this is not the right fit for me? And why was it not the right fit?
That's a great question. I had a couple different jobs within. I think throughout the whole period, I sort of knew. It's funny. Columbia let you could pay $100 every year or something like that, and just defer your admission to their post-baccalaureate program. So I did that every year for like 10 years. I was like, I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do it next year. I was very conflicted, but so I would say from the beginning, I kind of knew it wasn't the right fit, but I wasn't, brave enough to kind of step on this path. It was a fun path. I was meeting, with like CEOs and CFOs of important companies, and it was very lucrative, and it was exciting, and I was living in Manhattan, and I think it was tough for me to step away from that. But to your question, when did you know? I probably knew from the start. I just didn't have the guts to do anything about it. Although as I got older, even in my career, I did take chances. And I did, I left being at that hedge fund and going to business school. I made a list of every job I'd ever had before, saying, what do I really like? Do I like working with people or by myself, on teams or on my own? Quantitative things, qualitative things, many projects at once or one project, very deeply, et cetera, et cetera. And so I sort of made an attempt to think about what I might want to do. That actually led me further into the finance role, into a slightly different role within finance. But eventually, at one point, I said, I've done a lot in this career. I was up for promotion. And I said to myself, if I get promoted, I will have achieved whatever arbitrary goals I'd set for myself in the field, and B, saved up a little bit of money to pay for med school and not have a job for a few years. So, a couple months later, I got promoted, and I actually gave notice the next day.
Maybe because, so obviously in your mind, you're paying this $100 a year to keep deferring your post-bac.
Yes.
Which is smart. So in your mind, you kind of know, like, I'm not ready to give away that safety card of just doing a post-bac and going to med school. So then maybe that allowed you to just take bigger chances in your career, because you say, hey, even if it doesn't work out, I'll just go to med school.
There's probably something true to that. I also think as I've gotten older, I realize, you are more than just your job. There's this idea of, in I think psychology, of self-complexity theory. Like the more identities you have for yourself, right, the more resilient you are when any one of those identities is threatened. So if you're only a cataract surgeon, then if you have a tough time in the OR, it's really hard. But I mean, look at you, Dr. Devgan, you're also you're an entrepreneur with all the companies you're involved in, and you are a public speaker, and you are a father and an avid mountain biker, and all these things that you do. So it just makes you more. So yeah, I felt like I could, no matter what happened. I mean, anyone listening to this podcast is intelligent and good with people. So those two skills alone can take you so far. But for whatever reason, I always, in the back of my mind, knew that no matter what happened, I would be okay. You're right. I would be okay. We could find, I mean, I love my job right now. I really love my job, but if God forbid I lost it tomorrow, or even lost my medical license for some reason, crazy, I could still, it would be okay. I don't know, for whatever reason, I have that belief.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not as smart as most ophthalmologists. I'm really hardworking, but I always think that even if there's a 1% chance of anything succeeding, I don't mind. I'll be the 1%. I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah. I'll take the odds anytime. 1%, I'll take it. Yeah.
You bet on yourself, which is
right. That's the other correlate. When you have a chance to bet on yourself, you bet the farm, bet it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I took this job, I actually, there was an option to, you get a salary, and then you could have some sort of bonus structure, right, or you could get no salary and get a higher percentage of collections to start. And so that's what I did. I said, I'm going to, because I knew in the long run it would be better. So I said, I'll just, I think I made $0 my first paycheck or something like that. Right. But I knew that in the long run it would be better. So yeah, betting on yourself is always a nice feeling.
Right. Of course. Well, that's the reality of practice now, right? You eat what you kill. And if any person takes a job where there's a guaranteed minimum, I guarantee you're actually generating a multiple of that so that they can pay their overhead and then pay you that salary. So
Exactly.
you may as well just switch over to like
exactly. I mean, it's easier said than done. I didn't have loans. My wife works, et cetera, and I was older, but so I know that's not always an option for everyone coming just out of training.
So you basically 10 years you're doing on you finish college, let's say 21, 22, you work for Microsoft, you do all these other jobs. 10 years later, you're like 30-ish, early 30s, and now you're going to do your post-bac in applied med school?
I was 34 when I started my post-bac and 36 when I started in med school. Yeah. It was great. It was a blast.
Awesome.
I would do it again. It was so much fun. I made so much, I went from living on my own in a, fancy Manhattan, apartment to being in a 6-person dorm suite, you could say, with a bunch of, 5 other guys, 22, 23 years old.
Where'd you do med school then?
I was at the Icon School of Mount Sinai in New York City.
Oh, that's great school.
I stayed. Yeah, it was great. I had an amazing time. And my classmates, I made tons of friends. It was a lot of fun. They liked to rib me. I think one year for Father's Day, I was not married at the time, let alone a father. Like my roommates got me a #1 dad cup.
That's amazing.
Always taking care of them. Yeah, someone else told me I was the oldest and youngest kid in my class because I was just I was the oldest, but I was also pretty enthusiastic about everything. So it was a fun time.
Well, the beauty of that is 100%. You want to be there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You absolutely want to be there. I mean, you're willing to sacrifice a very lucrative career at the time in order to become, a student again and live with, a bunch of guys in a small apartment.
I know. And the other thing that was really nice, we've all heard the expression, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
And I was kind of blessed to not really have a comparison set. I loved my classmates. I learned so much from them and I really loved med school, but they were 22, 23 years old. I was in my mid 30s. And so I didn't really view them as like direct peers. Meanwhile, my age mates in their late 30s were, crushing it in their careers. And most of them were married. Many of them had kids. I had none of that. And so I also didn't really see them as a direct comparison set. And so I was kind of off on my island doing my own thing. And I loved it, because I think when you compare with other people, it can get challenging.
Well, I think that's a problem that everyone has. I have it especially, believe it or not. I always think
no.
Well, here, because I think maybe I could have had a different life. I'm so super hardworking. Like I'm so driven to just be in what I figure in my mind is the best.
Yeah.
God, if I did a Wall Street type job, I would just crush it.
You would.
Working. But then maybe I'd, not be working so much anymore.
Well, it's a long life. And, what I tell a lot of folks is like, you are never as old as you think. Like people like fantasize about doing something else. Like we valorize like perseverance and grit and resilience, like a lot in our culture. And I think those are great things, but there's no need to be a martyr. If you're in a position that you don't like, you should just leave. You can do so many things. And if you ever are feeling too old, quote unquote, just talk to someone 10 years older than you. Like they would kill to be you. But just talk to someone and they'll say like, you have so much time and you are capable of, I remember, I was a child of the 80s and 90s. And back then, there were like over the hill parties. When people turned 40, with the black balloons. And it's like, now people are just getting started, and and you can have a second and third career, later in life. And I think I see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, I think there is a difference there. I mean, I just my big thing. I love weightlifting. I'm equally strong now as I was in med school when I was 23.
It's awesome.
The exact same weights. But then look at my dad. But both my parents passed away. My dad was, my dad in his 50s. Joe, not even close. It was just a different world.
Yeah.
I don't think my dad ever went on a bench press in his entire life.
What is when you think about like the pie chart of how you spend your time, how much is on like clinic, improving yourself clinically versus the podcast versus, I don't know, you're traveling for conferences all the time versus your extracurricular pursuits, like entrepreneurial, like how do you mentioned on a prior podcast that you're super hardworking, but not always great with time management. I don't believe that given everything that you do.
No, there's not enough hours in the week, not enough hours in the day. That's the difficulty here. I mean, I'll tell you straight up. We're doing your interview right now. I've been traveling a lot. I was in Asia for 5 weeks
Yeah.
lecturing in like the Philippines and in India, a couple places, and in Thailand, and an amazing time. But when I come back, I'm so far behind. Like, you know what that is? That's an OR card,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And there's notes on the other side of it.
Oh my gosh.
Today's
That's
Friday.
awesome.
I don't have Monday's video ready yet. Next week.
Okay.
Normally, I have about a month in the queue.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay.
so behind in things when I got back in town.
Yeah.
So behind with surgery, so behind with other projects that
Yeah.
like I need to get August done.
Yeah.
And
I
so
was wondering about that. How far in advance you have,
I try to do it a month in advance, but today is Friday. I have Saturday and Sunday's video. I don't have Mondays and beyond. So I need to
Well,
get that
good
done
thing you're
today.
getting.
I gotta get it done.
Good thing you get 40 to 50 new videos a week. So you've got lots to choose from.
Yeah, it's even more now. I just checked. Last week was 66.
Very nice.
There's a ton of videos to choose from, obviously, but it's just like sitting down to do it. My schedule varies a lot. Like today, after we record this podcast, I got to go work with my robotic company, Horizon Surgical.
Yeah.
Obviously, financial disclosure there.
Yeah.
So that's basically robotic cataract surgery. So I'm going to spend the day doing stuff there. I spent half the day yesterday there too. So I got that project. Our AI patents that we have for IOL calcs, and now
I've been using that actually. I love it.
Yeah. So what's available online is just very little actually. There's way more. And we even have now care to refract patent. So I need to work with my partners in getting that kind of either licensed or sold to another big company. So that's another project.
Yeah.
I just did so many projects. Obviously, got my clinic is super busy. I got a banging OR schedule coming up next week.
Yeah.
Because I've been traveling so much.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't have the hours. Just the hours of the day elude me. And I was mad at myself because then yesterday I was like supposed to work out in the evening, and I fell asleep at like sunset, like probably 8 p.m.
Okay. You needed it. Come back from Asia.
I woke up this morning at 4, so I obviously slept a good 8 hours. But it's like, okay, now today I've got to do bench press today. I got to get back. So I just have like things I got to do.
Yeah. Well, they say a habit missed once is a mistake, but a habit missed twice is a new habit. So yeah, don't miss it today. You missed.
Yeah, for sure. On the way working. Yeah. So that's like, well, this is the pressure here. I've got 2,600 videos in a row. Would never miss a day. I can't miss a day now.
Yeah, and you won't. Yeah.
So that means today is like Friday night. I'm not going out to have some fun. I'm sitting home making videos like a dork. See, my kids are right. Dad, you're such a dork. Yeah, they're right.
Well, I loved what I think Dr. Stephen Lash said last week about passion. It's not necessarily enthusiasm for things. It's not like, oh, I'm so excited about it. It's like willingness to sacrifice.
Discipline.
Discipline, sacrifice. That's really, it's like, what are you willing to give up to do something that you like? Going back to, you mentioned the IOL calc, it's presented a conundrum for me because I've been used to doing my surgeries like 1 week apart, 2 eyes. But now I'm like, but I'm missing out on the opportunity to like learn from the first eye towards the second eye. And
I got an easy answer for you.
Tell me.
I put this in one of my old videos, but with 2,000 videos, you can't even find it. I bought this little refraction stick online, like optometrists use for contact lens refraction.
Yeah.
It has in one little like plastic bar. It has four lenses. It has a plus a half, plus a quarter, a minus a quarter, and minus a half.
Okay.
And so I do a post-op week 1. So I do one surgery, let's say Monday. The next Monday in the surgery center, I check the status of the first eye.
Okay.
And if I aim for plain, I would say, I have the patient, okay, let's look at your first eye and I ask, is it better or worse with plus a half or nothing? Oh, it's better without it. Okay, how about minus a half? And the common ones are like the EDO, they sometimes tend to predict. They say, oh, no, it's definitely better with the minus a half. Okay, now I'll adjust the lens cuts to the other eye.
Oh, nice. So you just do it in real time, day of.
Do it in real time. And again, you can buy one of these online. It's like a little refraction thing that has plus a half, plus a quarter, minus half.
Awesome. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Problem solved.
Because it makes life much, much easier.
Yeah.
But I think we're entering a new world now when it comes to all of this. I got to tell you, AI, just look at ChatGPT, so good. I actually, for my last column in Ocular Surgery News, or 2 columns ago, it was something about white cataracts, Argentine flag site, intumescent, capsule split.
Yeah.
I gave ChatGPT the prompts. It wrote the whole article for me. I had maybe 5% edits. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like a crazy, like it begs the question, should I even be writing these? This is my 20th year writing this monthly column in Ocular Surgery News. Do I keep writing it? Because I don't know.
Well, You're right. ChatGPT is fantastic. I've made friends with a retired ophthalmologist in town, and we go out for dinner every couple of months, which has been great. And he's gotten really into ChatGPT, and he suggested I have a spreadsheet. We all do. We keep track of all our patients and what was my pre-op refractive target and where do they end up post-op month one. And he's like, you should upload that, anonymize all the data, get rid of the patient information, and just anonymize it and upload it and see what insights can you glean from this. I did that a couple of weeks ago, and it's great. It's like, you don't have a column for percentage of the time you're within half a diopter and percentage of the time you're within 1 diopter. That's a very common metric that young surgeons should look at. And I was like, oh, great. Can you do it for me? Yes. And it just does it. And it's great. It provides a lot of insights, and it's
what was your percent plus or minus half diopter?
A 92, which I think is okay.
No, it's fantastic.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Plus, I know this space really well.
Okay. Tell me. I was feeling a little.
No.
I wasn't sure. Okay.
Average ophthalmologist doesn't really track anything. It's probably in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
A fantastic ophthalmologist who tries their best to track everything, actually spends the effort to hone an A constant, sticks with a good modern day formula like Barrett or whatever else.
Yeah.
It's probably low 80s, 80, 81, 82.
Okay.
To hit the 90s is super hard.
I probably have law of small numbers. I've only done a couple hundred, cases.
No, a couple hundred enough. I can tell you 100 cases enough even to show that.
Okay.
So no, you're doing great. And then if you look at like LASIK numbers, which we think is so accurate, right?
Yeah.
LASIK plus or minus a half diopter target is about that too, low to mid 90s.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
It's not more than that. It's really is just that number.
Great.
Because you'll know, because LASIK we check, what percent are 20/20? Well, I know I'm a -2. I can wear a -225, overcorrect myself, still see 20/20. I can wear a 150.
That's true. There's a lot of wiggle room. Yeah.
That's 0.75 diopter spread. I can still see the 20/20 letters.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room.
So 90-something% is bananas good. Wow.
That's great. Okay, well, we'll see if I can keep it up. But there's other things there too. It tells you, oh, you should track this. You should, correlating like the length of the time of my case and like the CDE, that I use, and so it's great. So to your point, ChatGPT is great. I don't know that you should give up your column just yet, but there's a lot that it can do.
Can I keep just writing it with ChatGPT then? I
Maybe.
just did one column. I did one column. If you were wondering, it's the one from 2 months ago where I talked about Argentine flag sign, intumescent white cataracts, that one.
Yeah. Oh, nice. There's a lawsuit, right? Like some school in Northwestern or something is like the school was upset with the students for using ChatGPT in their papers. And then the student said, well, hey, you are grading our work using ChatGPT. And so it's like, I don't know. It's a brave new world.
Yeah. It's just so interesting to see how it'll turn out.
Yeah.
It's certainly a wild thing. Now, I got to ask a few other questions about your
please, tell me.
Do you ever miss it?
Great question. I tend not to miss things in general. I'm enjoying where I am right now. I don't know why that is. I don't meditate. I'm not religious. I didn't try and cultivate that personality. So it's probably just genetics or whatever it is, but I don't miss it at all. Not for a second. I love what I'm doing right now. And I think that's healthy. I look back with fond memories. Everyone is trying to find something in life that's meaningful to them,
right.
And trying to have a good, a good life. All those years, when I look back, 14 years before I started med school, where I wasn't doing, quote, the thing that I wanted to do. I love what I do right now, but I had a great life in those. Right. I mean, I was making friends. I was going out. I was, traveling. I was enjoying my life. So you can, so I have very fond memories, but I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. I don't know why I don't miss it, but I think
it's nature. You enjoy the journey of whatever you're doing, but
yeah.
You don't need to repeat the journey you've already done.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's a good way of putting it. And my parents like to say education is never wasted. And I think your experiences are the same way. There are things that inform my practice today that, I learned in finance, just being savvy with numbers, walking around a spreadsheet, it's helpful. It's helpful, especially in private practice. So like, that's nice, and, there's things like tech, like all this AI stuff, like I feel like do things, from my Microsoft experience that are like extend sort of the first line, things that you do with ChatGPT. So it's great. It's great.
I should have picked that up when you're talking about you had your dad in an Excel sheet. Of course, you got all the Excel shortcuts. You can always tell the finance bros because they don't use the mouse. They just click, they get all the shortcuts.
This didn't happen to me, but it was a very common hazing thing where, a new analyst, first day on the job in banking, their co-workers would like throw their mouse away. So you'd come to work and there's no mouse. So you just have to figure out how to do everything with the keyboard. Yeah, we don't use the mouse that often. It's pretty fast without. People don't believe it, but once you get used to it, it's true.
And so in medicine, you had your choice of any specialty. How did you choose ophthalmology? Because it's like cataract refractive is purely math, right? So maybe that's a natural fit.
That's a good question. I came into med school not even knowing that I wanted to practice, to be quite honest. I wasn't dead set on it. I said, with an M, I knew I loved the idea of studying medicine, and I was really excited about that. But I thought, oh, maybe I could do like investment banking in the healthcare space or venture capital, private equity, something like that. That was like swirling around my head. But to be honest, two of my favorite people from college became ophthalmologists, and I was 36. They were done with training and they were in their practice, and they were, are two of the smartest people I know, most humble, kindest people, just like amazing people. And so I said, if I could be peers with, people like that, it would be just like such a privilege. And so that kind of made me think, okay, maybe I want to do ophthalmology. And so, you start shadowing and doing some research, and one thing leads to another. And I was like, hey, this is really great. And yeah, I love physics, I love math. And so, the optics part of this was appealing to me, but it was really just people that I knew that had done it that I was extremely, that I admired extremely. Yeah,
well, that's a really neat thing. Yeah, I guess that is a big attraction to it. I mean, the people in ophthalmology are really just, I think, different than the rest of medicine.
Yeah, I don't know any other group really, so it's like hard to compare. But people are just so, my residency class, none of them went into cornea, but we saw a very active WhatsApp group, and we're just always sharing stories about patients. But then also all the cornea fellows from the class of 2024 last year who graduated, we have a WhatsApp group. There's like 60 of us or so, and we're always like, sharing stories, helping each other out. It's really great. It's so collaborative. I love that about medicine, more so than, in finance. It's really tough if you're working on a deal. At Morgan Stanley, you're not talking to your friend at Goldman Sachs. Like, how do you think about structuring this? Have you been in this situation before? Even within your own team, like, there's things are confidential. So one person is working on, one, non-public deal, and then right next door, your friend, your colleague is working on something else, and you don't talk about it. Medicine is totally different. We're always sharing stories with each other and asking for help, and I think that's great. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we learn a lot from each other. Yeah, I don't know if there's a finance bro channel like CataractCoach, right?
I don't think there is. Not in the same way. Definitely not. Yeah.
We're like, literally, my goal is to spill all the secrets, teach everything.
And you are. And one thing that I think your guests have not said before, everyone thanks you for, what you've contributed to the field. And I'll say the same. It's amazing. But of course, it's funny telling you that you're doing a great job is like, I don't know, it's like telling Taylor Swift she put on a good concert last night. Like, yes, everyone knows that for sure. But the thing that guests have not said is that you're touching the lives of a lot of patients. It's not just the ophthalmologists that you're teaching. We take that out and in our practice. And so there's just thousands, tens of thousands of patients that don't even know who you are that are benefiting from all these videos and podcasts. It's great.
Well, I stand on the shoulders of giants. To me, the godfather of anything ophthalmology surgical video, it's got to be Bob Osher. Osher's like the godfather. He's my guru. And so when I was a resident, I mean, I finished my residency in 2000, long ago.
Yeah.
I would just hunt for his VHS tapes and learn from those. And so he single-handedly, as one human, affected the lives of millions of people worldwide because he, at the time, using what he had, which is VHS tapes and like old fashioned, distributed knowledge of surgical techniques for the world to see. In fact, it's when I was a resident, I saw a video of Nagahara using phaco chop on an Ocher tape in the late 1990s.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I look at my professors and they're doing like bowl it out or divide and conquer. And I'm thinking like, wait a minute, didn't you guys see this video?
Yeah.
You gotta learn this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just kind of really lit the fire. So I stand on the shoulders of giants. So I mean, I'd love to take a ton of credit, but yeah, for sure. Once we spill the secrets about a surgical case or technique and here's how to do it, yes, countless patients worldwide will benefit. So it's really cool in that regard.
It's great. I have Dr. Osher's book in the next room, that What I Say.
Yeah, that's great. I got on my show right here.
Yeah, it's a great little book. But you know, what would you say were the biggest levers for for growing your practice? Was it, you know, the Tuesday night clinics that you had, or networking with optometry, you know, advertising, I don't know, something else, you know, because for the young attendings out there.
I don't advertise at all. And I'm not a huge fan of optometric co-management, because in Los Angeles, especially in my neighborhood, the West Side, the fancy part of LA, it doesn't seem like it's done on merit. It seems like it's done for who pays the most. I'm just not playing that game. And I don't mind if you'd like to co-manage you want to see post-op day 1 cataract? Sure. Can you also see post-op day 1 orbitotomy and post-op day 1 vitrectomy sclerobuckle? I mean, whatever you want, whatever your comfort zone is.
Yeah.
But it became different. So I don't do that. So to me, the number one thing, honestly, this is word of mouth. And I only have one rule in my clinic. It's what I learned in kindergarten. It's the golden rule. I give the same treatment that I want to receive. Here's my email after the consult. If you have a question, email me directly. I will answer it.
Yeah.
In your surgery, you don't have to worry. Every step of your surgery is exactly how I want it for my eye, including I'm using a diamond character for everyone. Why? Well, if it's my eye, can I have a diamond instead of a steel blade? I just think it's prettier. I think it makes a better incision. So every step of the way, there is no shortcut at all. You were literally getting the surgery that I want for my own eyes. You know, I had a video recently, cataract surgery on cataract surgeons. So, and on CataractCoach, right?
Yeah.
So I went back and reviewed, like I did 84 fellow ophthalmologists now. And so it's just kind of interesting. And I give them all, by the way, a USB drive of your surgery. I know you want to see it. Here's the video. But it's just like, yeah, I want to give that level to every single patient. I think that kind of really spreads gets your name grown.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you're accessible, I think that's probably my number one thing. Yeah, a lot of patients find me from, obviously, you Google, and if you Google cataract surgery and radiokeratotomy anywhere in America, I'm on the first page. Because there's so much material out there about the topic. But it's interesting, all the CataractCoach stuff is actually not for patients. It's to teach colleagues.
Of course.
But patients end up finding it too.
Yeah, but that was later in your career. So I guess early on, it was just focused on being just the best is what, you know.
Yeah, I was just pushing myself to be better and better. Just kind of let me, you know, working harder. I don't know. I did change gears a lot in my career. And I think that's one of the smartest things I did is not doing the same thing for an entirety of a career, because it'll get a little boring.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to keep challenging yourself, and you need to keep kind of shifting towards what you enjoy doing. So for like the first 6 years of my practice, I did everything that walked in the door. I did strabismus. I did BMR for congenital ET on babies. I did ptosis surgery. I did everything.
Yeah.
I was in a clinic where I could basically do everything, except I didn't do park plane vitrectomy, didn't do sclerobuckle, didn't do orbitotomies. Other than that, I pretty much did everything.
Okay. Yeah.
But then slowly you kind of shift towards what you really enjoy. For me, it was cataract and refractive. And now it's mostly cataract. I'm probably 90% cataract, only about 10% or less refractive. But it's kind of what I enjoy. For me, a day in the operating room cataract surgery is not actually work.
Yeah.
It's actually like fun. It's like,
you love it.
Right. It's like pickleball. It's like fun.
Yeah. Pickleball is great. Yeah. I liked what, I think it was Dr. Nicole Fram whom you had on, who talked about trying to challenge yourself to learn 3 new techniques in the OR every year. So, you know, I took that to heart, and it's great. Yeah. Trying to always change and, you know, add new things to your toolkit. Right.
And it's okay to keep evolving your practice. Something you said earlier too, you don't have to stick with something if it's not the right fit for you. You can move on. And so like, I always say your first job is like your first girlfriend or boyfriend. They're great and all, but it may not be the one forever. That's okay. Move on.
Yeah.
If I don't make you happy.
Yeah. Did you have any low points in your trajectory?
Oh, for sure. It's always up and down. It's like the
I don't hear
S&P.
you talk about that too much on your podcast.
It's like the S&P 500. Generally, the trend's only going to be up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are ups and downs the entire way. It's a jagged line. It's not a straight line ever.
Yeah.
So they're big challenges.
Yeah.
So let's say even a few years ago when I stopped teaching residents, I taught residents for 22 years until the year, I think 2022. And I enjoyed it very much. I was really super hardworking, but those little apples, those are the UCLA Teaching Awards.
Yeah. Oh, nice. There
are 5 of them. No other faculty members even won 2.
Yeah.
So obviously I went there with a purpose of like, I will be the best about this. But towards the end, it wasn't the right fit anymore. There was a lot of grief that I just didn't need. And then I happened to look up and they're like, oh, you know what? You could take your retirement right now, even though you're not fully vested. I'm like, good night. Thank you very much.
It's great. Yeah.
But yeah. And then just now I have more time to do things like traveling a ton. Last year I lectured in 21 countries.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy if you think about it.
Yeah.
And then now I get the project companies, what we talked about before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all those things are just kind of, I'm trying to live my best life. I'm also acutely aware of how short life is. I think once you hit 50, you figure out like, whoa, at 50, you say, I can't lie to myself anymore. I'm definitely on the second half of life. At 40, you could say, no, I'm 44. I'll live to be 88. I'm still in the first half.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's true. I can see that. I'm not quite there, but I'll be there in just a few years.
And then when my dad died, he said he only had one regret his whole life. And that one regret was that why did he waste his 50s and 60s, which he called the best decades of his life, working his fingers to the bone so he can die and have a little bit more money in some account. And he says, I got 4 kids. They're all doctors. None of them need any money. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
So I'm acutely aware of that. So I don't want to kill myself working. I don't want to let me just do enough surgery and be happy in that. So I actually do less surgery now than I did before. I don't work nearly as hard, but that's okay to kind of shift gears and do that. And then find other projects that, maybe it's better for me and better for the world if I put more energy into CataractCoach or the AI patent stuff or the robot company. Maybe that's better.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. A lot of seasons to a career. And you're right. The S&P 500, people describe it as often like a yo-yo going upstairs,
I like that.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Up and to the right, but there's a lot of peaks and valleys along the way. Local minima, maxima.
Right. It's funny too. If you Google, if you look up my dad's point, if you look up satisfaction or happiness throughout life, the nadir, the low point is actually your 40s, which is so interesting.
Young kids, probably for a lot of people, and early in their
right.
Mortgage.
You're just trying. You got your mortgage you're paying off. You got the stress of your marriage. You got the kids are super high maintenance now. Now your kids are in like junior high and then high school, and then there's just so much going on. And even your job's not quite. It's good, but it's not as cemented in as you would be like in your 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're trying to still grow your career. So there's so much going on that 40s is an ultra stressful time. If I look back at my 40s, I enjoyed enough, but I don't want to repeat my 40s. No way. It was way too much.
Yeah. Someone I met recently told me that another ophthalmologist retired now, or on his way to retirement. He said that people in ophthalmology make their most money in their 60s. Like that was the decade where they actually, it's the most fruitful financially, which I was like, oh, that's surprising to me. And then the next 2 were 70s and 50s, something like that. It makes sense that wouldn't be your 20s or 30s. I was surprised though that it was that much later in life.
I mean, yeah, I can tell you for me, for sure. I mean, in my career, the trend is, it's like the S&P 500, the trend's only up.
Yeah.
The trend is only up, which is why it's kind of so important to figure out okay, what is it you want in your career?
Yeah.
And kind of, can you achieve that? It's going to take you no matter where you are, it's going to take you 5 or 10 years to get ramped up. It
makes sense.
You just can't go from 0 to full speed in a year, at least not ethically. So it's going to take time. But then once it is, though, it's like, yeah, it's like a locomotive building moment speed. Acceleration is really slow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once you have that speed, the momentum is unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I hear. I try not to concern myself too much with like how many cases am I doing each week or not, but like people just say, oh, you're doing great. It takes time to build up a practice. And, what do you think is a good number of cases to do for a young, attending like cataract cases for a young surgeon?
Yeah. If we look at nationwide numbers, you're looking at around 4 million cataracts in the US a year. Let's say for last year, a little bit more. Yeah. About 10,000, 18,000 ophthalmologists in America, about 10,000 do cataract surgery. So you're looking at 400 cataracts per ophthalmologist is like the middle.
Yeah.
So which is like, let's say 8 a week if you work 50 weeks a year. Mm-hmm. So 8 a week is very reasonable. If you're less than that, that's okay too. You're still somewhere, you're slightly below the median on that bell curve. And so again, it's the more important thing is as you're young and getting your career started and racking up volume, getting your reps in, if you will.
Yeah.
What do you get out of each case?
Yeah.
Do you record your surgical video? Do you go back and watch it? Do you say, what can I do better on this case?
Yeah.
That's kind of the key.
Yeah.
And so if you're getting better every case, I think you'll be fine. And then ultimately, I think in ophthalmology as a whole, we undervalue what we do a lot.
Okay.
And so if you look at a dentist, one of my neighbors, he's a dentist. He charges, it's like $8,000 or $10,000 per tooth for a dental implant into the bone.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got 32 teeth. I mean, how is that $10,000? And then Medicare says a cataract's $500.
And it's going down, right? There's a lot of consternation around declining here in the U.S. at least 66984 reimbursement, and yeah.
Right. So I think it's just going to be shifted more towards patient pay model, because at a certain point, you just can't actually make ends meet in your practice, because it's not like in the last 20 years. In the year 2000, when I finished my training, it was about $1,100 surgeon fee for a cataract. In the year $2,000.
Yeah.
So now today, in $500, it's like that's the equivalent of like the $1,100 and $2,000 has got to be at least $2,500, let's say, in today's dollars. Yeah. So it's a fifth of the price, and I haven't gotten 5 times faster. My overhead's not 1/5 of what it was before, and arguably my overhead and all that's much higher.
Sure.
So it's just ultimately like the math doesn't math.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be a pendulum swing at some point. It'll reach a breaking point, and then we'll see. Something will probably change.
But what do you do when you're at the point where Medicare payment, let's say, for anti-VEGF meds is greater than all surgical fees for ophthalmology? Like surgery fees?
I know. Well, there was that paper that came out last year about how PE-owned practices, retina groups, do like 20% less retinal detachment repair than non-PE owned groups. But I can't fault them too much, because my understanding is it just doesn't reimburse well. Like you lose money on those cases. So it doesn't reimburse. We have the healthcare system that we've voted for. We have the model that we've voted for. And so if it's not profitable, then you can't expect someone to do it. But it's tough. It's a little unsustainable probably right now. I liked what Dr. Kuldev Singh said recently about all his like fellowship trained glaucoma surgeons, like getting jobs at PE firms, and then they're like limiting the number of trabs and tubes that can be. And PE is fine. I have a lot of friends, finance friends who work in PE, but I also have a lot of ophthalmology friends who work for PE-owned companies. Both groups of people are great. Both are just playing within the incentives that they're given, within the structure. No one's doing anything illegal. Everyone's just working within the constraints that they're given, with the instruction and incentive structure that they've been given. But I think PE in healthcare can be a little tough.
I think so too. I mean, ultimately, like I said earlier, I have the golden rule. I want to treat patients from the heart and from my brain. Yeah. I don't want to treat them from the wallet ever. So when they come in, my goal is like not financial. My goal is like, well, how can I best help you? Yeah. And oftentimes, here's the crazy part. Oftentimes in my clinic, I will say to a patient, you're doing okay. Your cataract's not that bad. Doesn't sound like you have any difficulty with your vision. If it's not broken, No, fix it.
For
I
sure.
said, why don't we check in a year? You don't need surgery right now. And they're just like, what? I'm like, yeah, listen, are you happy with the vision? Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'll see you in a year.
You did that to a friend of mine. Their mother was told elsewhere in LA that they needed cataract surgery. I said, why don't you get a second opinion?
Yeah.
And you saw them and you said the exact same thing, actually.
Right. Because I'm treating you like, if you're my family and you're seeing, okay, you got 1+ NS and your 20/30 vision, 20/25 vision, you're doing okay. Don't worry about it.
Totally.
Right. There's that saying that we well in Renzi, right? Any fool can operate, but it takes a surgeon with judgment to know when not to operate.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's a good rule.
I don't know where the brave new world's going then. Where's the brave new world going with, gosh, these PE practices or even non-PE practices, whatever practices where just the incentives are just so perverse. It's just so crazy.
Yeah.
We're not putting patient interests absolutely first.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I joined a 100% physician-owned group, and I love my partners here. It's amazing. I think you just have a lot of, and again, no shade to folks. There's so many people who, because I looked in tier 1 cities, like New York, San Fran, Chicago, Atlanta, et cetera, but there's just a lot of PE in those big cities. And I said, okay, I'm in Colorado Springs. We're an hour south of Denver. Never been here in my life before, taking this job, but we love it, and it's and the first part of loving it is just being with people that you feel like do good work, are ethical. And again, being in a physician-owned practice is really nice for that.
Yeah. One of the best bits of advice I ever got was, in any of these partnerships or dealing or joining a group, ask yourself, could I enjoy a weekend with me and my family and that person and their family, just going for a weekend getaway somewhere?
For sure.
And if the answer is yeah, that'd be kind of fun, that's a good person.
100%. 100%. I remember a lot of my interviews, because I interviewed at PE firms, and there was a lot of like, so how many patients do you think you can see in like a half day, or like how fast can you do a phaco? And I was like, oh man, it's just like not the vibes I was looking for.
Right, because sometimes that push to do more and more and more and more ends up kind of backfiring. I have a video on CataractCoach where I critique my own surgery from like 15, 18 years ago, where at the time I was dumber than a bucket of rocks. I thought faster was better. So I had a video of me, an old one in low def on YouTube, doing a cataract in like 3 minutes and change. And I go back now and I look at it and it's so cringy. I'm just like, spend an extra 2 minutes and make it prettier, will you? What's wrong with you?
Sure.
So there's like that very delicate balance. So now I actually operate slower, and my goal is absolute perfection. Like, I know it doesn't matter, but I want your Rexes to be like perfect.
Yeah.
I just like that. It makes me happy.
Yes.
But it's not the most, it's actually, I'm a little slower surgeon now than I was 15, 18 years ago.
Okay.
But I'm far better, and I'm far more meticulous. And I'm giving now the surgery that I want. Because if it's my eye, spend the extra 2 minutes and make it dang beautiful.
Yeah. It's great. It's the right attitude.
Yeah, for sure. So now in your practice here, are you going to change gears again? Or this is finally it?
I think this is it. I joke, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a Supreme Court justice. And so I'll joke that law school is the next step. But no, I think I love what I do. I really, for the first time, like I said earlier, like, it's really hard to fool yourself. You kind of know if something doesn't feel right. And now, again, I've been in practice less than a year. So talk to me in 5 years and 10 years. But as far as I can see, I hope this is like I was grateful. My practice just invited me to be partner recently. And so, I plan on accepting and, hopefully have a long and fruitful career, here.
I think you will. It's amazing. I'm thankful every day to be an ophthalmologist. I just can't believe I got this lucky and stumbled upon this field. And like, this is what I do for a living. This is like, so much.
Yeah, no, it's
right.
Great.
No, it's fantastic. But yeah, I think a lot of my friends always thought like, yeah, should have done Wall Street, hedge fund stuff. I would have made a killing. I'd be already retired by now.
Yeah.
But, it's so, that's why I got to talk to you on the podcast. Because I literally I can name 6 ophthalmologist friends.
Yeah.
Who we all say like, I should have done that instead.
Yeah. And, Who's to say they wouldn't have been you don't know. You don't know what it would have been like. It's more lucrative. That's for sure. But a lot of the people who are good at any field, it's surprising. You wonder, like, you read all these stories of these very rich people who are still working very, very hard. And you're like, don't you have, like if I had $50 million, I would be retired on a beach. But the type of person who succeeds often in that field is the type of person who's just like you, is really, really hungry. And it's never, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to make this much money and then I'm going to retire. It doesn't happen as often as you think. And it's kind of daunting being done at, 47, 55, and you have like, some people are like, oh no, I just sit on the beach and I have a great time. But some people do that and they actually find that it's not what they thought it would be.
I would get bored. I know.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
I need so even now that I don't work in my practice full time, and I stopped teaching residents, so that was another part of my week is gone. It's open.
Yeah,
it's still filled up. It fills back up with projects.
Yeah, exactly. Most people don't like sitting around. The type of people who become ophthalmologists or who maybe want to go to Wall Street, they're not the type to sit around idly. So.
Right. So in that regard, I don't think I could actually sit on a beach and do nothing. It would absolutely drive me nuts. And so, I've always got to get some sort of project. So I guess I kind of made the best of it here in ophthalmology, where I don't have to do just, I can change gears and not do resident teaching anymore. And I can teach the whole world the cataract coach. I can also now maybe, spread my expertise over like, okay, these other side projects.
Yeah.
And so it's, and then maybe 10 years from now, I'll be doing something different still.
Yeah. There's no harm in that. There's no harm in, switching things up, I think there's, to your friends who think like, oh, I don't know. I really do think it's never too late to try something new. So, it's, it may not look like what you you may think it's hard, but it may never be easier than it is right now. Like, you're like,
that is true. The one thing that struck me is a mentor once told me, said, every year of your life generally will be harder than the previous year.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And you kind of see that growing up, like when you were in 11th grade, you couldn't believe how hard it was. 11th grade was so killer. And then like a little break in 12th grade, you go to college, you're like, oh my God, 11th grade was a joke.
Total joke. Yeah, exactly.
Or when you're in med school and you're like, oh my God, the second year of med school is so hard. And then you're like this resident working all night. You're like, oh my God, second year of med school is a breeze. And then you're in practice now and you remember back like, man, remember when I was a PGY2 resident, I thought it was so hard. Yeah, that's the walk in the park.
You didn't actually have patients of your own. You didn't have to like, deal with, the buck stops with you now, isn't it? I mean, it's so true. Life just gets, but it's a good thing. It gets more, you get more responsibility, it becomes more exciting, but not easier, mostly not easier. And they actually say that in finance, like, people, when you're younger, you're working really hard hours and you're like, oh my gosh, you're pulling all-nighters like once a week, you'd be pulling all-nighter and you're making good money. But when you get promoted, it's not like you are working really, you may not pull all-nighters anymore, but now you're still working a lot, 80, 90 hours a week. I mean, a lot. It's basically more of everything. It's more responsibility, more stress, more money, but like, it's not like you're doing less work. The people, I remember like, like my senior folks that I would work with, something would come out on a headline in the news and they'd be on their, phone and they'd be like texting some CEO, like, hey, I'm going to come out and see you tonight. We hop on a plane, it's not easier. It's not, people might fantasize like, oh, like if I'd gone into finance, it would have just been a cakewalk. I'd have crushed it. And it's like, but it's also a stressful career too, in a lot of ways.
It is for sure. And then remember the other thing, right? Once you have so much money, you get problems that money can't solve.
For sure. For sure.
And if you look at like to my dad's credit before he died, he's like, what actually is your most valuable asset in your life? It's not money. It's your time, your happiness.
Yeah.
Right. You look at Warren Buffett. Oh my God, he's worth $200 billion. I'm not even a penny compared to him. Yes, but in terms of time, he's like 97 years old. I'm far richer in terms of time than he is.
Yeah.
Time and health and probably happiness too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after a certain point, how much do you actually need in life, right? How much do I need?
Not that much. If you make, I think it's like, I just read this in a Wall Street Journal article. Like if you make like 250K in the US, you are in the top 10% of earners.
Right.
Most ophthalmologists will clear that,
Easily.
and easily. And, fine, if you're living in Manhattan, San Francisco, Chicago, you're not going to be the richest person on your block, but to be in the top 10% of earners in one of the wealthiest countries on earth, I mean,
Right.
you don't have to, you don't have to scroll down far and pick your newspaper of choice, like on their website, to just see the amount of suffering and just unbelievable hardship that people go through in on this planet. So yeah, I think you can do very well. Now if you want to be the richest person in the block, ophthalmology is maybe not the right, the best path towards it. But I think you can still be very happy, like you said, with your time, with your health, with your projects. Even if you're not at the Warren Buffett level.
Yeah, I don't think there's more happiness there, to be frank. Because to your credit, I just don't think there's more happiness. I think it's like I've learned after 50, you figure things out. I'm happy with what I have. I want what I have, and I don't have the desire for more. I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm way simpler than that now. I just don't have those crazy needs anymore. I just want to enjoy what time I got.
Yeah. That is the best attitude. And hopefully people can cultivate it. It's tough. It's tough when you read, when you're, like you're saying, when you're in your 30s and 40s, just starting out, it's like, it's stressful. But But I tell people you have so many skills. Things will be okay. I think about the decisions I stressed over when I was younger, and I realized it would have been fine if I had zigged instead of zagged. I stressed over like what college to go to, what first job to go to, certain things. And it's like, I look back and it all worked out. It's fine. There's some hecticness in between, but it's fine. If you have confidence in yourself, I guess. And anyone listening to this podcast should.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what a bunch of great life lessons. This was so much more fun than I thought. I really enjoyed talking with you. I can't wait to hang out in person and share a meal with you.
I would love that. Thank you. I'm a big fan, and it's a real honor to be here.
Well, there's so many great pearls you offered up in this, and you really put a lot of ophthalmologists at ease, because even me, I would think, I should have done some Wall Street thing and this, that, the other. Even though, to be frank, it wasn't my passion. This is my passion.
Yeah, don't do something you don't like. It's with your one and only life. Don't do that.
That's awesome. Well, I will also give you an offer if you'd like to share a surgical video of anything.
Oh, wow.
Send it to me. We'll put it up the day after your podcast. Yeah. And as you saw on the list here, because I don't have too many podcasts or the things in the queue, your podcast is going to be aired a week from now.
Okay, excellent. I'll see if I can get anything for you. That sounds great.
Yeah, we'll put your podcast up on Sunday, August 17th, and your video, if you have something, I'll put it up on Monday, August 18th.
All right.
But as you know, I gotta get them done this weekend. So if you have something, send them me now.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, it's been my pleasure. I've really enjoyed this podcast.
Dr. Devgan, thank you very much. It was my pleasure as well.
And I want to remind our listeners and viewers, remember, we got a new Cataract Coach podcast every single week, especially if I get back to work and make them. And we got a new Cataract Coach video every single day. Video 2,650 something and counting. So until next time, I catch you later.